She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, welcome to February. Welcome to a brand new edition of the Dream Wager. XK Picks, excuse me. Episode 81. Today is February 2nd, 2024. Joe, how are you doing?
A lot going on, man. I understand the little typo right there, but if I could, I'll mention all the events that I found interesting this weekend real quick before we get into everything. NFC 17 based in Germany takes place this weekend. WFC 166. CFFC, not Cage Fury Fighting, but Chosen Few Fighting Championship 24 takes place this weekend. Road to UFC Season 2. We're at the Las Vegas finales. Of course, that will take place February 3rd. And then Ring of Combat as well will be Combat the Space in Westbury. But I found also an interesting thing in Russia. They got a thing called Union of MMA, and they're having a cup series in all different areas of Russia. So, whoever wins that event, I'm sure will be crowned, king of, that region.
Yeah, very interesting. A lot going on. And even our partners over at DraftKings, they have odds for the Road to UFC taking place tomorrow, actually, as well. So you got a bunch of odds on that. Joe, we got a great show for you guys today. We'll recap a little of the Royal Rumble, what we thought of the crowd, what we thought of the overall atmosphere in St. Petersburg, Florida. We got a little news, big news actually, that just dropped about 10 minutes before we started recording. UFC is back. UFC Vegas 85, headlined by middleweight fight Roman Dolidze and Nasruddin Imavov at the Apex. Pretty decent card, I thought, especially the main card. And we will head out of here with 10 seconds left. BKFC, Joey will take care of there. But Joe, gotcha. Royal Rumble last weekend. First of all, before we get into the winners and whatnot, thoughts on the crowd, thoughts on the overall. I thought it went a little long. The Tropicana field was as packed as 10 times the Rays games. I'll tell you that much. I mean, the Royal Rumble record. They set a record. I thought in the beginning the women's Royal Rumble was actually very entertaining. If I'm being honest, show,
man. They set the bar, I think, a little too high, and it was hard for the other matches and the men's to keep up with it. So, I mean, if they could take a learning lesson from that, is to maybe start the men's Royal Rumble first. You know, I guess you kind of wait for the event. You kind of wait for that at the end. But like you said, it kind of dragged on. The first Royal Rumble started out hot, and then we had those two matches in between. It was like filler for us to kind of have that long match at the end where it really wasn't like every 30 seconds. It really felt like there wasn't a superstar coming out until after 2 minutes. We had a lot of action in the ring, and then there was someone coming out. I know in Royal Rumbles in the past, they used to fill up that ring, superstar coming out every 30 seconds. So, things have changed maybe, I guess the product itself, but if I were to rate the pay-per-view itself compared to other Royal Rumbles, I think it's below average. I might give it a 4 out of 10.
I was going to do it on a grading scale. I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt and do like a C-, a C.
Which I think would equate. It was C- would equate to a 4 on that scale, I think.
I thought it started good. I was like, okay, if the women's are like this, and I agree. Back in the day growing up, they used to fill the ring with everybody. I remember when there was 15, 20 people. Now it's like 5, 6, and some of the median people who come out 11 through 20, they're usually done. You could just check them off. They're really not going to win. But we'll start with the women's main event, or the women's Royal Rumble. Bayley, shout out her. We called it on the show. Bayley was the winner. She was entry number 3. But you know who I really like? I thought Nia Jax was just eliminating people. But here it comes. We saw her make her appearance in, backstage, but the first time in the ring, one of the best sought out free agents, Jade Cargill. Yeah. Holy shit. And then her face off between her and Bianca Belair. I thought that was amazing. Great job done by the WWE there. And ultimately Liv Morgan comes back as well. I thought that was cool. Zoe Stark, I thought she did pretty good. Becky Lynch, the man, I love seeing her as well. But overall, Bayley gets the win, and she's on the road to WrestleMania. Who do you think she will probably go after now?
I do think she's going to go after her former teammate or current stablemate, Io Sky. That's the thing that makes sense. There's kind of like a lot of workings going into that. And yeah, Jade Cargill looked like a wrecking machine in there. You know, she is absolutely jacked out of her mind. Some of the best like aesthetics I've ever seen on an individual. I mean, so she's definitely going to be a threat in those women's, you know, for the women in the WWE, man. I think it's open for what they want to do with her. I'm trying to recall, do they have like a women's intermediate belt? You know how we have the US title and we have the Intercontinental.
Yeah.
Do the women have anything like that?
I don't think so. Not that I remember.
If I were to be completely honest with you, Jade Cargill, if she's not ready for the full-on championship, if you still want to push that storyline between Bayley and Io Sky and Damage Control, and you want Rhea Ripley to still be, you know, the main event of WrestleMania, I think Jade Cargill would be a perfect candidate to institute a mid-card title, and she would hold it like a Gunther and give some prestige to something like that. So I think the world of her. I think the future is bright, and what the WWE wants to do is limitless. They can do anything.
And I think they could pair her up and kind of build her up with a girl like Bianca Belair, who's already proven herself, who's an ex-champion, who, you know, who's great on the mic, who's great at selling a story as well. And, you know, they have that very similarity. Yeah,
absolutely.
The Universal WWE Championship, Roman Reigns defends it against Randy Orton, LA Knight, and AJ Styles. I mean, this one was kind of predictable. Another C. I would rate this one. It was kind of cool how they kind of tried to stack all the WWE superstars on top of each other, but I don't know. It was just kind of very predictable. You know, he wasn't going to lose it at Royal Rumble.
No, and I hate to go back real quick. I know we just moved on, but I just had to give a shout out to R-Truth in the women's Royal Rumble. I forgot about that. That was hilarious, man. R-Truth, he's a gem of our time. But man, Roman is, like you said, it's pretty much straightforward what was going to happen that match. You know, we love Randy Orton. We think he's one of the greatest of all time. But you know, we don't really see him taking that belt from him. LA Knight ain't really ready yet. And I mean, AJ Styles is kind of like the dark horse. He's like that wild card that he could hold the title, but is anybody at that level to take the title away from the tribal chief and the head of the table? And I don't think so. You know, I keep going back to, you know, I had the Rock for the men's and I had Raquel Rodriguez for the women's. Neither of them were even in it. So null and void there. But that's the only challenge he has. I know we could see what the other, you know, storyline may be, but I'm still torn with that. I'm really torn. I really think that for the head of the table, the only one to knock him down a notch would be his uncle, The Rock.
The Rock. And maybe it's not even for the title. It's just for the head of the table because, you know, the whole thing with the new Netflix, do they want to save him for losing the belt on the Netflix where they have so many more people watching? I don't really know what they do, but no, I agree. I think maybe they do The Rock for the head of the table at WrestleMania. We'll do the U.S. Championship next. Logan Paul defeats Kevin Owens. I thought this one was a shit show, if I'm being honest. It was just so corny to me, and I guess I kind of like the direction they're going. They're kind of making Logan Paul a heel, and they're making him like a bad boy trying to cheat with the brass knuckles. And then you have Kevin Owens who goes and uses it and then fucks him up afterwards. I like that part of it.
I did like that part. Yeah, I was gonna say I chalked it up as a win. Though you got the suggestion and prediction right, I'll take it as a win. Kevin Owens beating him up at the end.
Yeah, and then the only one I did lose was the men's Royal Rumble. My boy Cody Rhodes goes back to back, makes history. What happened?
Yeah, how did we not see that coming?
I mean, do you think? What do you go through? What do you make about CM Punk winds up tearing his tricep? Very unfortunate. He always seems to get hurt. My thing is, do you think that played a part in it, like him tearing it and then just kind of giving it to him? Or do you think they were going to give it to Cody Rhodes to kind of finish his story finally?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know. I mean, you know, we saw Punk come out on Raw this past Monday, and he actually kind of wrestled slightly, even though he had that torn tricep. He had kind of got into a physical altercation. I forgot with who. I don't know if it was Drew McIntyre, was it?
Yeah, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, Drew's on fire right now, nonetheless. But dude, that kind of, I don't know if it's part of the storyline or if it is that he's actually hurt. And if it is, I mean, it kind of makes sense. He's older. I hate to be like that, but he was kind of washed when he first left the WWE and joined the UFC. He was already considered old at that time and injury prone. And now he's back, and what we were going to expect something different. I mean, no, it's kind of what should have been expected. And I hate to say that, but that poses a good question. Was it changed last minute? Was it ad-libbed? Was it, improv that in the ring? Like, Cody, you're the only one now going forward that's going to be injury-free and be able to go into main event and challenge Roman Reigns. If CM Punk got it, I think he would have gone after Seth. And I think the table's open for Cody to go after Seth too, but it just doesn't make sense. But then it goes to what I was kind of suggesting for before. I don't think that Cody yet is even ready to finish the story, bro. I don't think Roman is weak enough to lose the belt. I think the foundations need to start cracking, and that starts with, like I said before, The Rock maybe taking him off the head of the table, claiming his rightful place as the head of the family. And then we can see Cody swoop in and steal what was most precious to him, which was that WWE Undisputed title. So
what his dad never got.
Yeah, that would be a beautiful end to a story. And I think all of us want that, but
my thing is, Joe, real quick, Joe, is I don't like, so do you think he goes after Seth then? Because you said, he's not really ready to beat Roman. And I agree. I think he goes after Seth. Seth on WWE Raw, Monday Night Raw, he said, come after me. I'm the guy. I think they're trying to shift focus a little to Seth.
Yeah. I mean, that's valid. And he could win the belt there. And then there's also future inkling that he has the belt as the world heavyweight champion and he goes and challenges the WWE champion. And then you got belt versus belt. I would hate to see them unify it. I do like the split brand, but that's always an option to put a belt on Cody and have him challenge, Roman Reigns at that point.
One guy that, got really put on my radar that I didn't know about. You explained a little. I want you to explain a little about his past and who his father was. But Bron Breakker, he's like one of my favorite guys now. Though he reminded me literally of Brock Lesnar. There was rumors. We won't get into it with the whole that was supposed to be Brock Lesnar's spot in the Royal Rumble. They gave it to Bron Breakker. There's some inklings that he might be involved with the whole Vince thing. We won't talk about that. But my thing is, do you think he's kind of resembles his father or Brock Lesnar?
Yeah, I mean, Rick Steiner is his pops, bro. I mean, the Steiner bros, Scott Steiner, Rick Steiner, some of the baddest MFers ever, dude. And I like Braun a lot. I know there's that controversy. We'll see what comes to light there. But no, I really think he's a force. And I'm trying to think. It's like if like Goldberg and Brock had a baby, you got Bron Breakker right there. So I like the guy. I think, if he makes way to the main roster, he could definitely make some waves there because he's just a physical beast, man. And I've seen him improve on the mic as well. And I do think he has some good fanship following behind him. So I think the future's bright for Bron Breakker. I personally like him a lot. And I like the Steiners a lot, bro. Like obviously he doesn't have the same name. He didn't follow the family name, but bro, if you know anything about Big Papa Pump and Rick Steiner, bro, when they were Steiner bros, they were bad, bro. So
like you said, Drew McIntyre had a good showing as well. He came in at 29. I always liked it. At first, I thought there was a chance my boy Gunther might have stole the show. Gunther's, he's a promotional dream. Like they love him, and he does a lot for them. I love Pat coming in, just eliminating himself. I thought that was great. Getting him back to him and Michael Cole will be the lead announcers on Monday Night Raw going forward. So love how they're bringing Pat back. And overall, I thought it was pretty good. I'm happy for Cody Rhodes. Excuse me. I just don't know. He has to finish the story. If he goes out and defeats Roman Reigns, we have to riot. What are they doing then? I truly don't understand why they make him win back-to-back Royal Rumbles if they're not going to make him win. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's the thing that makes sense. Was your question before was the injury ad-lib from that point on? And now it's like, well, we were going to put CM Punk to fight Seth for the main event. But now that Cody's got it, because we had to, he's not ready once again for Rome. Let's have him go fight Seth. So I think they're just kind of like adapting and overcoming to the situation. So
but overall, I thought it was a C. I thought it was an average Royal Rumble. Went a little long into the night, kind of dragged. too many commercials. You start to see the sponsorships a lot now going, you had C4, you had Slim Jim, you had all those sponsors, a lot more
Slim
than
Jim.
I'm accustomed to. But overall, we are on the road to WrestleMania and happy for all the winners. I go 3-1. The only guy I didn't get right was Cody Rhodes going back to back. So shout out him for that. Overall, though, how did you do real quick?
Yeah, since I null and void both the main men's and women's Royal Rumble, they didn't count at all. They never even showed up to the event. So they're null. But I went 1-1. But like I said, I considered the Kevin Owens prediction a win. So I looked at I didn't lose that Royal Rumble night. So one other thing, if you want, before we get into some news, I did do 165 real quick, and I went 3-2. It was a good event. I thought I was entertained by it throughout. And man, I hit some of those props for you. So if you're able, like I said, to go out there and check some of the books and see what it is, DraftKings, I think, had it late. So hopefully you got it onto the DraftKings Sportsbook and you hit it. But man, it was a good event, honestly. Like I said, I went 3-2. Gary Tone in Jersey Zone, he had the rear naked choke victory. We had a bunch of knockouts. Questionable, like why Sexyama went to get Nikki Holken against that rule set. It should have been MMA first, not just boxing. I mean, he was totally mismatched against the, prize kickboxer Nikki Holtzkin. And then, a lot of controversy surrounding that Sage Northcutt dropout.
What happened there? Did he not fight?
Yeah, he did not fight, and John Lineker had to step in because two of his cornermen were there. They had visa issues and couldn't make it. But in comparison, Superlek, the main event, didn't have two of his cornermen and still fought against Hikaru Sagawa. So,
he's ducking him.
Yeah, it takes a little bit away from Sage. And also shout out to the co-main event, Cade Rutola, because he won by the unanimous decision against Tommy Langaker. But he stepped up and said, I'll fight Shinya Aoki in my MMA debut. So shout out to the Rutola brothers. They're some of jiu-jitsu's best players.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was wondering. I was telling you, I was like, yeah, my boy Sage Northcutt's fighting. And then I see and I look at the results. I'm like, he didn't even fight. Like, I was confused. Now, do you need a cornerman by like letter of the law?
No, I mean, remember Mike Perry went out with just his wife, just Lattori. Yeah, just with his wife, and that's it. I don't remember call a fighter not having a corner at all, or at least one cornerman. But yeah, I mean, you could, but you're just taking the world on your shoulders. I think it's nice to at least have somebody in your corner rooting you on, giving you some advice. Just addressing everything. So, I don't think it's unallowed to not have anybody, but I wouldn't advise going without somebody in your corner.
All right, let's get into some news. We'll actually start with Bellator. Corey Anderson versus Karl Malone is set for the vacant Bellator light heavyweight title main event. It will be Bellator's first event in Belfast, March 22nd. Vadim Netkov, he vacated the title. He's moving up to heavyweight. You like Corey Anderson versus Karl Malone? Carl Moore.
I haven't heard any of this. This is pretty crazy. I'll be honest. I'm interested to see. I don't know all too much. You said Karl Malone, like the mailman?
No, Carl Moore.
Carl Moore? Oh, man. I got to do a little research into that. This is news to me, man. But Corey Anderson, there's levels. There's levels. I mean, there's always a shot with New Jersey's own Corey Anderson. And interesting that Vadim Netkov is moving to heavyweight. He seems to be kind of like a intermediate light heavyweight, and he doesn't look like a big one. So to be moving up to heavyweight, man, it might show his skill set if he starts getting some wins together and challenge whoever's up there. Maybe Ryan Bader, Renan Ferreira. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with the cross promotion. Maybe they stick him just solely in Bellator. We'll see what goes on.
Joe, what do you think of my pronunciation?
Which one? Wait, hold on.
It doesn't matter what you think. We got my boy Charlie Campbell. I had to pull a promo from Charlie Campbell.
I get it. Yeah, now you got
Charlie Campbell will take on Trevor Peek, UFC Vegas 90 back at the Apex April 6th. I like it for my boy Charlie Campbell.
Yeah, you threw me off, man. I'm thinking of freaking Charles Blackie, who I think is fighting this weekend or next weekend or something. So, but another Jersey boy. What's with all these jerseys back to back, man? Charlie Campbell, I think's got some talent.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to pull a little stunt just like how he did with DC. It was amazing. We got unfortunate news though. Chris Barnett is out of his fight against Muhammad Usman. He will now take on Mick Parkin, UFC Vegas 89, March 23rd. we are all devastated. I wanted to see a flip with my boy Chris Barnett, but he is out due to injury. What do you think about Mick Parkin taking on Muhammad Usman?
Mick Parkin should win that. I'll be honest with you. The motor, he could be good. I just don't know what I make of him all too much. I think honestly, Chris Barnett would have won that fight as well. So stepping on a last minute replacement, I do think that he has the advantage against Muhammad Usman. So
my boy Junior Tafa, he will take on Carl Williams, UFC Vegas 89, March 23rd. I don't know what I think about Junior Tafa taking this fight. What about you?
No, Carl Williams is a tough dude, big guy, and I'll be a lean. I'd say this goes under. I don't think this makes the judges' scorecards. I think both of them will be looking for a finish there.
Danish wrestler, silver medalist in UFC lightweight, Mark O. Madsen. He announced his retirement in MMA. His record in MMA 12-2, 4-2 in the UFC. Why is the Danish retiring, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's already like 40, man. He's had a long Olympic career. He wrestled majority of his life, and he made that transition because he thought that the wrestling would take him up. But everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face, and I think he's smart for it. If those that have one foot out the door aren't committed to the sport, should retire and step away, because head trauma, brain trauma is no joke. And I think he was aware of that. And I think he could easily make a living teaching wrestling up in Canada, up in Denmark, wherever he decides to go. Because I think last time we saw him out, he was in the Canadian audience. Yeah. So yeah, man, I think the world of the guy. Anyone who makes the Olympics, they have vast knowledge and they're willing to spread it. And I wish him the best in his retirement, because I know he can spread that knowledge to others in the next generation.
Yeah. Very unfortunate. You're right. He's 39. He'll be 40 in September. His last fight got knocked out by Jared Gordon. So, he's on the downfall right now, unfortunately. But
he's nipping it in the butt. He knows when it's time.
Yeah, but like you said, man, I think he can make a living teaching. He's a silver medalist in the Olympics. So I do think he can make a living doing that and just training wrestling. Another unfortunate news. Main event, UFC Atlantic City, March 30th. Sean Brady versus Vicente Luque is off. The bout apparently was never officially signed. Brady was dealing with an ongoing injury. So looking for a new main event. Were you looking forward to this fight? And if so, like, where do we go from here?
Yeah, I honestly think it was going to be a Philly heavy crowd, especially with Sean Brady in the mix. Vicente Luque coming from Jersey, probably have some crowd backing him, but it's in Atlantic City. That's more favor for a lot of Philly guys coming over. And I think it would have been a great atmosphere there, but we'll see what they are going to do. I got some inside idea that they're hoping that next week, and give you an early lean lock, man, Joe Pyfer's going to walk through Jack Hermansson. All right. They're hoping that he does that. I think they could put Joe Pyfer there as the main event, real with you. And someone that's already at the top 5 for the middleweight, I think it makes sense. So they could be fast-tracking Joe Pyfer if he walks out of the Jack Hermansson fight scot-free.
That's a quick turnaround,
I believe he's game for it. We've seen
he has said it himself.
And if you told me
injury prone.
Who Joe Pyfer said that?
Joe Pyfer, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying, I think he's game, man, and I think he's got that dog in him. I don't think there's anyone stopping that dude. I really do. I think if you threw him against like Bo Nickel, Hamza, I really think Joe Pyfer gives people fits. So I think you could do anything with the guy, and I think he's trying to get to that level. And to do that, it would be a quick turnaround, beating a guy like Jack Hermansson and then facing a top 5 opponent in New Jersey. He'll have the crowd behind him. He'd have a lot of momentum going into 2024, maybe a title shot by 2025. I mean, Joe Pyfer is legit.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see what they do for
Joey Body Bags.
South African Cameron Simon will take on Peyton Talbot, who's very good. UFC Vegas 89 at the Apex, March 23rd. Big step up for Peyton Talbot. What do you think here for him?
Big step up in competition. Simon coming off an L. I think he's going to try to right the track, but Peyton Talbot, I got high expectations for the kid. I think the turnaround might not be so much in favor for Cameron Simon, the South African. I think Peyton Talbot, I think this is his fight, man. I'll be honest. I think I'm gonna put money on Peyton Talbot. If I can find a line from DraftKings early, I'm gonna set it up.
And I guarantee you Peyton Talbot will open up the favorite. People love this.
Got to do it early. It early.
Tyson Pedro, he'll take on Vitor Petrino, Vegas, UFC Vegas 87. You like this for Tyson Pedro coming off a big win?
I think both are super, super aggressive, and I'm thinking fireworks. That is a lit matchup right there. I like that a lot.
And then, like I said, news that just broke 20 minutes before we started recording. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see this fight for a while. They're just going to postpone it. But Tyson Fury suffered a cut in sparring training today and is out of the undisputed heavyweight title fight versus Alexander Usyk. This is according to Usyk's manager. I guess the only thing left to do is Ngannou versus AJ, Anthony Joshua, undisputed title. Right?
I mean, unless Usyk wants to cut and go to cruiserweight, I know it would be a big step in competition for Jai Opetaia, but I like what I've seen out of that dude. I think he's a future of that division. So, I mean, boxing's going to have to work around a few kinks and see what they're going to do. But yeah, the Ngannou and AJ Fury fight could get pushed up. I know they set a date later in the year, right?
But they want to push it back. So it was scheduled to fight February 17th. They want to push it back to March. I just don't know if Saudi Arabia does that. Everything is in their court, you know, and you know, you got Francis Ngannou tweeting out, so me and Joshua for the undisputed title. I wouldn't put it past them if they wanted to do that.
I think Turki Al-Sheikh loves Francis Ngannou, and I think they look at him as a very big attraction for a wide range of audience members. Casuals are coming in. You got celebrities wanting to see him. You got the MMA world clashing with the boxing world. I think Francis Ngannou has become a household name, so they can do whatever they want.
Tyson Fury just posted an Instagram picture, and it was him shirtless with his boxers on, and the caption reads, quote, "Can't help getting injured in sparring, but what can I say? Usyk was in trouble. I am in fantastic shape. I will reschedule as soon as I can. 2024 for a massive year for Team GK, undisputed."
It could, you know, I hate to be the conspiracy freaking theorist, but dude, you know, we said it before. It was a quick turnaround from him going against Francis Ngannou, all the power he took there. You know, not necessarily that he had cut. Maybe they were like, you know, maybe we need a little more time to be ready.
Michael Benson on Twitter posted a picture of Tyson Fury and the cut. It is pretty deep. It's right below his eyebrow. It is pretty deep. They're hoping they could postpone it, and you know they're trying to explore other dates. Usyk's teams, they're being they said it might be several months. If it's several months, I mean you got to move on, right?
I think so, but I mean he's a crazy motherfucker. He could easily have said, "Yo, cut my eye, cut my eye. I'm not. I'll do it later. I know you."
Very, very unfortunate, but all eyes are going to be on that AJ, Anthony Joshua, and Tyson and Francis Ngannou fight, and hopefully it is for the belt because you know His Excellence Turki Al-Sheikh, like you said, I think he really, he has. You want to talk about Dana White? His Excellence is the number one guy in combat sports right now.
Sports, really, yeah,
for real. So. Very unfortunate, but that is all the news that we have for today. As always, we are brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Looking for a Super Bowl offer for Super Bowl 58? DraftKings has you covered. New customers can bet on the big game and turn $5 into $200 instantly in bonus bets. Right now, you know, you got a rematch in the desert between the Chiefs and the 49ers. Right now on DraftKings, 49ers are -2. Little short favorites, -120 on the money line. Patrick Mahomes is an underdog again. You could get him at even money. So download DraftKings Sportsbook, not now, but right now. Use code AXEKICK. New customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 58. With code AXEKICK, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after insurance. cdkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Joe, we are back in the Apex UFC Vegas 85. Like I said, headlined by Roman Dolidze taking on Nasruddin Imavov. Everyone has made weight as of right now. Weigh-ins were just a little over an hour ago. So we're locked and loaded, kid. What do you got? Start us off.
Yeah, I'll start you off with the first fight of the evening. We got Thomas the Trank Engine. No, I'm playing Thomas the Trank Peterson. Favorited in this one at -166. Taking on Jamal Pogues at +140. Man, these heavyweights, I think, are going to bring it. So I'd be leaning here early. I don't want to put an official bet to start, but I'll mention I like the under 1.5 at +185. So you're getting some good value, but it's just lean on my end. So if you guys are feeling confident, you go ahead and take it and get some good value to start. But right into the next fight, we got Markel Medeiros is a -148 against Landon Quinones, a tough alum. You know, I think he got drafted by Conor McGregor's team, and he didn't look, you know, we had high expectation. I think he was the number 1 draft pick, but he kind of was a disappointment in that one. +124. I like the under in this. I think we're going to get a finish. I think Landon's going to have to bring it if he wants to prove himself to the UFC. And Marco Medeiros, if I'm mistaken, is the brother of Michael Medeiros. So let's see. Under 2.5, -105. Once again, another under. Not as chalky, but it's a lean for me. Again, I just don't want to put plays out to first and have a long night ahead of me. So these are leans on my end, but if, like I said, you're feeling confident, go ahead and get some value going. But right into the next fight, we got the women here. Julia Starenko at -120, taking on Luana Carolina at +100. Lines may be fluctuating a little bit, but all this is via DraftKings. My first leg of a big 5-legger parlay will start here. I got Julia Stolarenko. I think she can utilize some grappling. She's shown improvement on the feet. And if it does wind up on the mat, I think she has a chance to tap her out, you know, submit her any way she'd like. So I like I think she competed in the Olympics, the Pan American Games, jiu-jitsu tournaments. I like Stolarenko in this spot. You can play her straight up, but she is the first play of a 5-leg parlay at -120. And we go into The Rock's favorite guy here. Probably a favorite UFC fighter of his, Themba Gorimbo, at -245. A lot of money on him right here against the heavy-hitting Pete Rodriguez at +200. But you see some flaws in Pete Rodriguez. I don't think he's all too defensively sound. And though Themba can get chinned, obviously Pete's got that power. I think Gorimbo has the answers, hence his nickname. So he is the second leg of my 5-leg parlay because it's very chalky, like I said, at -245. And so we go right into the flyweights here. And Charles Johnson, man, at +164. I don't think he has much of a shot here against Azat Maksa. Man, the Kazakhs are crazy at -198. The line is fair in my eyes, but because it's a little chalky, I will throw him in that 5-leg parlay. He's the third leg of it. And now we move again to the women. We got Molly McCann. Meatball's back. I know we had to deal with the cringe of her lifting that belt that one time. She didn't earn it, but she did it. Ran around the damn octagon like a fool. But she's fighting another fool in Deanna Belbita, +230. She throws caution to the wind, and she's not all technically sound. I think she'll get caught. Molly McCann has that knockout power still. She is the fourth leg of my 5-leg parlay at -285. Not really worth it on a straight up bet. So
I will say, Joe, real quick, if I could jump in, I don't have a dog in the fight, but down to strawweight, this is their second time fighting. Molly looked okay on the scale. My issue with her, what's her weakness? Take her down and just submit her.
And that's not what Belbita's game is.
But -265, I don't care who she's versing. She should not be -265 against anyone in the UFC roster. If you want to play just the fighter and the number, you gotta throw a flyer on Deanna Belbita. I know she was flirting with retirement and saying, you know, my days here aren't long, but Molly McCann, a -265 favorite, is outrageous.
Her fight IQ is just a little below average, and no offense, but it's just, I'm just calling it how I see it. And I just think that they're just going to wind up throwing in there, and Molly should be the one that come on the outside of that. I really think so. Let's go into the next fight here. That's why I mentioned it is Chuck Buffalo's time, man. Charlie Radke is on this card at +170, taking on Tough. I didn't think Gilbert Urbina was on Tough as well. Gilbert Urbina looked good, man, minus 205. But how can I fade against a guy with the nickname Chuck Buffalo? We did it before. He nailed it. We're going back to the well. Plus 170. Give me that principal value on Chuck Buffalo money line. Gotta love it.
He has the best nickname in the UFC. I don't care.
I think Chuck Buffalo is a hard nickname, man. So
oh my god, I love him.
Let's go. I think into is it the featured bout of the prelims right now? Alishkab Krizev taking Mahmoud Muradov.
No, that's the first start. That's the first. So Chucky Buffalo was the featured prelim, and then this is the start of the main card.
I mean, he's going to get eyes on it. He's entertaining on the mic. We'll see what happens after if they do give him the mic. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't. But let's get into the main card now. So I mentioned these two guys. I do think the line was really in favor of the Black Wolf here, but money is coming into Mahmoud Muradov. I think they're seeing some value in him at plus 150, but I think he finds himself in a precarious positions on the feet sometimes. He's going to have to find a way to the ground, but like I said, Krizev, he has the skills with an undefeated record to match him on the feet and when it gets to the grappling exchanges. So I got to go with the favorite here. The Black Wolf money in line at minus 166. It actually is starting to swell in his favor again. So money's coming back. I think people are realizing their mistakes. And let's go into the next fight. I'm going to mention these, and Dylan, you're going to go and take it away. So we got Viviane Araújo at plus 275. Man, I've not predicted it very well with her at all. But she's going against our girl, Natalia Silva. And she is the heaviest favorite on the card that I'm seeing. And rightfully so. She is a spectacular fighter at minus 345. D-Rock, man, who you got in this women's matchup?
My girl, Natalia Silva, finally on the main card, getting some respect. 4-0 in the UFC, 3 finishes, big step up in competition for her. And, you know, all the lights are going to be on her for her to keep the momentum going. I like her minus 3.5 on the spread, minus 145. It's a cool prop that DK offers, which means she sweeps the scorecards. I think she just dominates Viviane Araújo. I'm also going to sprinkle a little on Natalia Silva to win inside the distance, plus 275. And my long shot play of the night, I'm going to put a half a unit on Silva to win via submission at plus 650. Prior to her getting into the UFC, most of her wins have come by submission. She does a great job on her feet, but Viviana, she has monster power for this division. So Silva, she has the advantage if this fight goes to the ground. I think eventually the fight will get to the ground, and I think she slips a submission in. So plus 650, a little half a unit on that. Inside the distance, plus 275, and on the spread, minus 350, minus 3.5 at minus 145.
Covering all your bases there, my man. And that's why I went with Natalia Silva straight up on the money line to end my 5-leg parlay. Because at minus 345, I could see her winning anyway there. And with that, my 5-leg parlay, with everything I mentioned before, is at plus 577 via DraftKings Sportsbook. But yeah, Natalia Silva is the more natural striker on the feet. I know Viviane Araújo, she could utilize some good wrestling and stuff, but let's hope Natalia Silva worked on her Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu defense, because if she can find her way to get on her feet, I think she has the advantage there. And if she's throwing some nice defenses, maybe some submissions from bottom in, I think Araújo is going to have fits in there. So, yeah, I'm all over Natalia Silva as well, and she concludes that 5-leg parlay once again, plus 577 via DraftKings Sportsbook. So, let's go into another highly anticipated matchup in the welterweight division between Randy Rude Boy Brown, minus 238, taking on Muslim, the king of Kung Fu Salikov, at plus 195. Great nicknames from the two of them. We should have saw this at the beginning of the pay-per-view. I think it was 296, not even 297. Am I correct about that? It was back in last year in January.
Yeah, 296. Right?
Yeah, exactly. We're supposed to see him there, and then I think we had an illness fallout from one of them. Might have been King of Kung Fu, but they're running it back. And, you know, the first time around, I really was all over Rude Boy Brown. I think he would have, you know, came in the fresher fighter. He was ready to make weight. You know, I think everything was leaning towards him. But now I think that pullout kind of gives a little bit of an advantage to Salikov in this spot. So, man, I know we might be on opposite sides in this, but I'm going to take the dog. I'm going to take King of Kung Fu money line at plus 205. I mean, he could sneak out a win on a split decision judges scorecards, or, you know, Randy Brown may have the advantage on the feet, but Muslim Salikov, he has some good grappling skills. Not that Randy doesn't either, but he's sneaky with that stuff. So I don't think people are really expecting much out of Muslim Salikov in this spot. So I got to buck the trend and go with my man in this spot. But you know, I love Randy Rude Boy Brown.
Yeah, I'm glad they kept this fight together. Like you said, they were supposed to fight a couple months ago, dating back to last year. I think this fight is a banger, in my opinion. Should go all 3 rounds, in my opinion. Two very durable guys who both of them are very tough to put away. I like Rubai as a piece of your parlay, as a lean, but official play over 2.5 rounds at -166. Like I said, two very durable guys, tough to put away. So official play is over 2.5 rounds, but I do lean Rubai.
Bomba clot! Now let's go into the co-main event. We got Manny Moicano. Moicano wants money, baby, at -155, taking on. You see this? He's mogging everyone just by existing. Drew Dober, my boy, at +130. And if this fight stays standing, I think Drew Dober has the advantage. But if it's on the ground, obviously it's jiu-jitsu ace that Moicano is. He can find a way to submit him. But, man, the dogs are barking in my eyes. I think Drew Dober is going to be a tough out in this spot. And I didn't like the inactivity from Moicano. I know we've seen some slippage from Dober in his last outings, but he still got it, man. I really do. And Drew Dober might win by straight up mogging. So, let's go Drew Dober on a money line at +150 in the co-main event.
Yeah, this should be the main event, in my opinion. The main event is trash, in my opinion. But this is the people's main event. I love this fight. I feel like everyone, like yourself, is jumping on Drew Dober with the plus money. I understand why. Manny Moicano has been knocked out before. He can be a little chinny at times. But Moicano has fought the tougher competition. And I think Drew Dober, if he can't land one of those big left shots or big hooks early on, Moicano will get this fight to the floor and maybe even get another submission win. All 10 of his finishes have come by submission. I know it's chalky, but I do like Manny Moicano here on the money line -185. I'll sprinkle a little him on via submission at +120. He's the better fighter, and it's in the apex smaller cage. Usually favors grapplers. So give me Moicano. Yeah. And just to say on the inactivity, he was hurt. He was scheduled to fight. Yeah. He got hurt. Sometimes you just
not
can't
fair on my part to call that out. No, absolutely. We got to address injuries, and I'm just saying it's just worrisome. I was expecting to see him. We didn't see him, and I want to see Renato Moicano. I think the world of the guy. And to be honest, I know.
Yeah.
I was just saying, I'll be real with you. I'll be honest. I knew you had the Natalia Silva submission and the Renato Moicano submission. I'll be honest. I like the sound of both of them, though I was on the opposite side with the co-main. If you threw those two in a parlay, both those prop submissions, I think you would get some good value, and I think they're kind of likely.
If you give me a second, I can get that for you real quick.
Yeah. So all these odds will be via DraftKings Sportsbook. So look on their app, check it out on the website, and I'm sure you'll come up with a parlay of your own.
Yeah, so right now, like I said, Manny Moicano via submission is at -120. Natalia Silva to win by submission is at +650.
Wow.
And of course it's not working.
But it's +650. At that point, you very well are just good straight up.
Plus 1,550. Hey. $10 bet will get you $165. Woo!
Oh, love it. Yeah. I think it's live. I really do it. So if you guys are feeling frisky, go ahead and maybe, sprinkle, like Dylan said, half a unit or something.
Yeah.
Quarter unit. Who knows? So we've made to the main event of UFC Vegas 85. And I know Dylan said it's a little disappointing, but I think we're in sort of surprise. I think we might see the skill set of these two athletes here. Imavov, I think he fought Sean Strickland last year. Didn't look all too well in that one. And then Roman Dolidze, we were supposed to see him as well, and we didn't. So a couple of the inactives coming back and to rear their ugly head, if you would, but not so much. I think we're going to see some beautiful displays of mixed martial arts come tomorrow. One more sleep. Roman Dolidze at +140, Nasruddin Imavov -166. The line has not moved at all. I don't know if there's just no bets coming in, or like, to your point, is it not really that exciting? People aren't invested in the main event. I mean, maybe people are going to tune off after the co-main event. I hope. I'll probably be watching the main event. I'll be watching from the first fight to the end. But just to simply analyze the fight, Imavov's going to want to keep this fight standing. He's training with a lot more kickboxers in his gym. And Roman Dolidze, I think, is a genuine mixed martial artist. He likes wrestling. He likes the ability to take it to the ground. And I don't think he's scared on the feet either. I think just based off his ability to mix it up and be like a 5-tool player, I got to go Dolidze at +140. Him being a dog in this spot just doesn't really make sense to me. He's more locally bound for where he's training at. The guys he's training with are dogs. Not to take anything away from the French fighters and Imavov, but man, it's hard for me to take him as a favorite in this spot. I really got to go with Delitzzi and who he was supposed to face off. I think higher competition, and I think he's ready for those higher competitions. And he's taking a step down in one. I think he might show off. So let's go with Roman Delitzzi as a dog, but on the money line to play it safe.
He should have a 4-fight win streak. Roman Delitzzi, you know, he knocked out Kyle Dawkins. He knocked out Phil Hawes. He knocked out Jack Hermanson, and then a unanimous decision against Marvin Vettori that, I mean, I thought, I watched it back. I thought Roman Delitzzi did enough to win that fight. Then he had 2 canceled fights. He was supposed to fight Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson winds up moving to the PFL. Jared Cannonier, he got hurt. Now he gets a fight with Nasser Imavov. I understand the line here, kid. Imavov, he has good footwork. He's a good striker, good takedown defense. He has high IQ. But one thing I worry about is cardio, especially for Roman Delitzzi. He hasn't gone past the 3rd round. I'm curious to see where that goes. And if Roman relies on his power most of the time, I don't know how he's going to do in this fight. Both guys are not easy to put away. I think this is going to be an exciting fight, but as the fight goes on, I do expect Imavov to pull away. He's gone 5 rounds before, like you mentioned, the fight with Sean Strickland. I lean Imavov here on the money line, but a stronger play. I like the over 2.5 rounds at -166. I think both guys are extremely durable. Both guys, like I said, tough to put away. And I just don't see Imavov getting caught by a power punch early on. And like I said, as the fight moves on, I think Nasruddin is going to really pull away and get the win. I just think he moves too much on the feet and plays a lot of defense. So I'm going to go lean Nasruddin Imavov, but my official play is going to be over 2.5 rounds at -166.
I like that. I think that's the safer bet. We're expecting 5 rounds here. I think we're at least getting 3 out of it. So that over should hit right there, especially if we get into the later parts of the 3rd and therefore after. Roman Delitzzi is definitely going to have to utilize some grappling. You know, I think he's the better wrestler when it comes down to it. I just do worry. I've seen Imavov have some pretty solid takedown defense. So you're right. If he can deny those takedowns and keep it on the feet, he should have a slight advantage on the feet, especially, like I said, who he's training with. He's constantly sparring. But I like Roman Delitzzi. Like you said, if he didn't come off that loss, I don't think the line would have been like this. I think he might have been favored. He would have had an undefeated record and he would have been coming in a hotter fighter. So that's why I went with him. But man, your analysis on UFC Vegas 85 was spot on.
Thank you, Joe. Hopefully we bounce back. We have a good week. We keep the bankroll moving from the Royal Rumble to the UFC Apex for UFC Vegas 85. And this starts week 1 of 13 weeks straight of UFC fights, all the way to UFC 300. We're locked and loaded, baby. We're ready to go. Before we close it out, 10 seconds left. Joe, you have a word from our sponsor.
Yeah, we are brought to you by our friends at Viva Tequila Seltzer, as it is the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. It is no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a 4.5% ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with the active lifestyle in mind. We flavored our tequila seltzers because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with a kick, just we like to live our lives. Whether it's a huckleberry while playing a round of golf or an elderberry after Saturday's fights, UFC Vegas 85, it does not matter. Our flavors pair perfectly with our artisanal Blanco tequila for our subtle and refreshing drinks. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and Viva Seltzer is to live long, live well, and live it up.
Thank you, Joe. 10 seconds left. BKFC, is it tonight or tomorrow?
It is tonight, so hope y'all tune in. I'm on a roll right now when it comes to 10 seconds left. 3 weeks in a row, I've hit on all my bets. Last week, Muninga versus Ryder, he got the finish there. Hopefully, we can keep it going here. BKFC 57 takes place in Hollywood, Florida at the Hard Rock. I got Luis Palomino, the Baboon, taking on Austin Shaw. I got to go with the Baboon here. I haven't seen him lose. His fights with Justin Gaethje in the past were absolutely electric, man. I'm thinking he's going to get the win here. Stay posted on DraftKings for any of the odds being up. But it's hard for me to go against the champ. He's defending it so many times. Austin Trout, I like him, but Luis Palomino is the real deal. And that will do it for 10 seconds left. But, man, there's a couple of boxing events if you want to look at. You know, Conor Benn, he's fighting this weekend. And even Teofimo Lopez will be fighting next Thursday for his WBO junior welterweight title. So I'll post my prognostications on the internet for y'all.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate we're not getting that Chris Eubanks Jr. and Conor Benn fight. That's the fight to make. You had the whole history with the fathers and now them getting personal. And it's just a shame, real quick on Conor Benn, the whole British media and him getting blackballed. He served his time and they still want him suspended more. Like, its time has served. Like, if you want to make him pay a fine, he'll pay a fine. Like, it's over and done with. Like, let's move on with our lives. And to be honest, all the negative drug tests, he went on and got a different drug test and he passed twice. So he's fighting through it. It's unfortunate that they have to put this filler fight together. We also had a retirement. Shakur Stevenson, Jersey's own. He officially retired from boxing at the age of 26. I don't know how long it will last.
I don't know. It might be like, is it a contract kind of deal? Is it just so he can like demand fights? Be like, hey, if nobody wants to fight, I'm gonna retire. Is it like that? I don't know.
I truly don't know what's going on. He put it on Twitter, a few days ago. Let me get the tweet up right now.
Something about nobody wants to fight, and it's like, I'm done with this. I can't keep going with it. I don't know.
Yeah, he goes, on January 29th, I'm officially retiring from the sport of boxing. I'll be in the gym forever, perfecting my craft and helping the next generation become great and chase their dreams. But I ain't fucking with this weak boxing game. I mean, what do you make of this?
I don't know. I'm glad I honestly, like I said, I don't know. I really don't know what to make of it, but I'm glad maybe we can make this a common thing. Maybe we can incorporate some boxing news because I'm glad we ended on this note. So
yeah, 100%. But Joe, good luck this weekend. Good luck to everyone. That's going to do it for this Friday edition of Axe Kick Picks. On behalf of our sponsor, DraftKings and Viva Tequila, Joey, myself, we'll see you guys next week with plenty of picks, plenty of hot takes. So please follow along our social media, X and Instagram, at XKick Picks. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. We go live every Friday afternoon on YouTube, youtube.com/XKick Picks live. Hit that like button, subscribe, rate, give us a review. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Everyone, good luck on your wagers this weekend. Be safe, be well, and we will see you guys down the road. Peace.
Well,